I'm Taylor Blenner, and today I will be talking about internet browsing. I am a cyber operations major at Dakota State University, and specifically today, I will be covering unsecure sites, Facebook and other social media, and banking online. First thing I'm going to be covering will be unsecure sites, which is how to know if a website is safe. For a website to be considered secure, it has to have this padlock in the URL. All secure sites will have this. When a site is not secure, it won't have it, and it'll look something like this first picture. Sites that are not secure are typically full of different types of viruses. So it's important when browsing the internet to browse on secure websites. There are some browser extensions you can download that add another layer of security when browsing the internet. These are definitely not necessary at all, but it's just another little thing to make sure you're being mindful of the sites you're visiting. I'm going to show you how to download those. When you open up Google Chrome, you can search for Chrome extensions. Oh my goodness. And you'll be brought to a site that says chrome.google.com. You want to click on that and make sure extensions are selected. I'm going to search Norton. You can add Norton Safe Search. What this one does is it scans sites to see if they're safe or unsafe. The main reason I use this one personally is for the dangerous websites that are blocked. This extension will block websites that aren't safe. It doesn't block every website that's unsafe, but it does get a good bit of them. So to actually download this, you want to click the Add to Chrome button, and that's all you have to do to download it. Like I said, these extensions are not necessary at all, but it does help a little bit with keeping yourself secure when browsing the internet. The next thing I'm going to talk about is social media. I'm mainly going to cover Facebook and Instagram, but all of the things that I'm talking about typically transfer over to other social media sites. This first video is going to be how to make your account private on Instagram. What you want to do is go to your settings page and click on the privacy tab and go to the account privacy and make it private instead of public. The reason why you want to do this is to make sure only your friends or your followers can see what you're posting. Because if you have it as a public account, everyone on the internet can see what you're doing. The same thing applies to Facebook. If you want to go to the settings and enable your posts so only your friends can see them, it makes your account more private instead of being a public account. Because if you have it on the public settings, everything you post will be shared to the internet and not just your friends. Here's some other things I have enabled on my Facebook. It's under the timeline and tagging tab. So only my friends can see what I post on my timeline or what other people post or tag me in. On social media, I know there's a lot of different scams going on, and I wanted to cover a few of them. This one I see all of the time, or stuff similar to this, where it's I don't give Facebook permission to share anything of mine. By posting this on the page, it doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of posting it. It doesn't protect your information at all by posting something like this. And I see this all of the time. People share this so much on my Facebook feed. Here's another personal example that actually happened to me this morning. My friend, who I don't really talk to that much on Facebook, forwarded me this link of this video, and when I went to click on it, it brought me to this site. I was already kind of suspicious because that friend never sends me anything on Facebook, and I don't think he's on Facebook anymore, but it sent me to this site where I had to put in my information to be able to view the video. But you shouldn't have to put in your information to view anything. If it's like a link to a different site or anything, you shouldn't have to. And also, another giveaway that this wasn't legit was up here. You can see it says Blueberry One, all this random stuff. Like, that doesn't seem like a Facebook or YouTube site. So obviously this was a scam. These are also other personal examples that happened to me. This one on the left was from Instagram, and this acquaintance of mine sent me a paragraph saying that I was on this list for like the hot list and I was number 20 or something like that. So I went over to check out this account, and you had to download a bunch of stuff to be able to see everything. So obviously she was hacked, and then she later messaged me saying she was. So the next thing I'm going to be covering is banking. The biggest tips for online banking are making sure you have a secure password, and you change your password often, and you enable two-factor authentication. A lot of banks are different with this. Most of the time, I think you can just get to it through your settings, but if you need to, I know banks will help you set up two-factor authentication if you call them. Another thing you want to do is avoid using anything that requires a password on public Wi-Fi. If you're using public Wi-Fi like hotel Wi-Fi or a like cafe Wi-Fi, you don't want to be doing anything that gives away information. The best thing to do is just to assume that you are always being watched when you're on public Wi-Fi. So like if you're at a cafe and you're watching cat videos, that's really not that weird and that doesn't give away anything. But if you're signing into your bank account, then they can probably get your information. Another thing you want to do is check your bank statements. If something doesn't seem right, you want to contact your bank immediately. Another thing you can do is purchase antivirus software to install on your computer. Like again, I said before, this isn't necessary, but it does add another layer of protection. When you are going to log into your online bank account, you want to make sure you physically type in their web address instead of clicking on links. Because if you're on your email and you click on a link, you can't always be sure that that is your bank's website. So the best way to avoid any of these like banking scams through phishing emails is just to type out your bank's web address every time. There's also other scams that go on that you want to be aware of. Here are some examples that I'm going to talk about. I know there have been job scams where they require people to send a check to cover expenses. There's census scams, Medicare fraud, COVID scams, which actually we got a call this morning that said they had this miracle drug that fixed it, which obviously isn't true. And phishing emails, which I receive daily. These happen all the time, so it's good to stay on your toes. If you suspect something that's a scam, the best thing to do is to just avoid it. Another tip against scams is don't give out sensitive information. Never give out your bank information, social security number, Medicare number, or any other sensitive information. Never give out information over the phone or over the email, especially about stuff you're not sure about. And if you're not sure of something, you can always double check with the person or the company to verify information. Like if you're on your email and you see a suspicious email coming from your bank, you can always call the bank to make sure that it's legit. Another thing you want to do is be mindful and pay attention to everything. If it seems suspicious, it probably is. Here are my resources, and thank you guys for watching my presentation.